North Korea has test-fired another intercontinental ballistic missile. It's the second major weapons test this month. The missile flew eastward from the outskirts of the North Korean capital, Pyongyang, and landed about 200 kilometres off the Japanese coast in the country's exclusive economic zone. Military analysts say the missile would have had the range to hit the American mainland. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida condemned the test.
We made a stern protest to North Korea. They are repeating provocative actions with unprecedented frequency.
At least 21 people, including 10 children, have been killed by a fire in a building in a densely populated refugee camp in the Gaza Strip. A local security official told the BBC an initial investigation suggested there was a gas leak from a kitchen.
It took firefighters hours to get control of these bursting flames in Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza Strip. Nobody seems to know how it all happened. Gaza's Interior Ministry said an initial investigation revealed that large amounts of petrol had been stored at the site, fueling the blaze that quickly engulfed the building.
The deadline has now passed for employees to decide if they want to work there under Elon Musk. The new CEO told those who did not share his vision or were not willing to work intense hours to leave. The deadline was today at 5 p.m. Eastern, and employees were offered 3 months of severance.
A few hours ago, we're looking at this deadline, this ultimatum that Elon Musk had put in front of his staff, essentially saying, click here to commit to extreme, hardcore working conditions. And it was not spelled out in an internal FAQ document exactly how that might change, for instance, the benefits you would have, only that you would be working harder, possibly working weekends. The ultimatum that he put in front of people seemed to have been intended to sort of weed out the people who weren't adequately committed.
The blasts that caused leaks of gas from the Nord Stream pipelines were an act of sabotage. That's the finding of a preliminary investigation by Swedish prosecutors. In September, 4 explosions ripped through pipelines 1 and 2, sending flows of gas to the surface of the Baltic Sea. It happened in international waters, but in the economic interest zones of Sweden and Denmark. The two countries increased naval patrols in the area and launched parallel investigations. The 2 pipelines were out of service at the time, but still contained quantities of gas.
Tonight, 8 years after a Malaysian jetliner was shot down over Ukraine, 3 men were today convicted for the murders of the 298 people on board.
Verdachte Girkin, Dubinsky and Tjatchenko worden veroordeeld.
A Dutch court sentenced 2 Russians and a pro-Kremlin Ukrainian to life sentences for their role in the downing of flight MH-17, which was hit by a Russian missile while it was flying over rebel-held territory shortly after Putin invaded Crimea in 2014. The men were convicted in absentia and are still protected by Moscow, so will likely never serve their sentence. Nearly a decade after that horror, Russia continues to act with impunity, launching a new wave of missile attacks today. This strike caught on camera in the eastern Ukrainian city of Dnipro.